Welcome to The Daily Dish with New York Times bestselling author Leanne Ely. Putting vibrancy back into your everyday life and feeding your heart, mind, body, and soul. Join us every day at 1 p.m. Eastern for Motivational Monday, Tuesday's Tip, Wise Woman's Wednesday, Thirsty Thursday, Food Fight Friday, and of course Q&A, where no question is off limits, and Soulful Saturday. Here is your host, Leanne Ely, and The Daily Dish.
We're back. Welcome to Friday's Q&A, because it is FriYAY! And this is recorded, by the way, in case you're wondering, because I'm not going to be able to greet you as you come in, but you know you're welcome here, of course. This is what we do here on the Daily Dish Show, where we bring vibrancy back into your everyday lives, heart, mind, body, and soul. Our questions usually are centered, however, on nutrition and food and what to do about, troubleshooting issues. And you're going to see that today. So I welcome those questions, and I'm really grateful that you send them in. If you want to send in your questions for next Friday, send them in an email to support@savingdinner.com. And in that subject line, question for Leanne on Friday. It's that simple to get into the queue. How about that? The other thing that I want to remind you is if you are looking to have gorgeous skin at any age, we do have a webinar that you can watch. It's on demand right now because we've already done it. And all you have to do is go to savingdinner.com/skin to get in on this, because I'm going to give you a lot of action tips on what you can do, because my whole thing is not about anti-aging. It's about embracing your age and having your inner glow come out. And we do that with beautiful skin. This is our calling card, right? You know that. It's our calling card. Our inner circle is full. Can you believe that? We have 50 lovelies in. And I'm so excited because there's a lot that goes on with this. It is a 12-week program. We will be ending just before the holidays. And last but not least, we have changed the day to Saturday mornings at 11 a.m. Eastern. Now, I know we aren't making every single person happy. There are 3 people who are probably not going to be that happy about that. However, that was the very best date for everyone else by far. So that's why we changed it. So all of you Inner Circle lovelies, yay, 11 a.m. We're going to be meeting. You'll be getting an email. Please watch your email box for our Inner Circle emails. These have actionable things in there that you need to do to be a part of. I don't want you to miss a thing. Meanwhile, we still are offering our book. And we're excited about this book because it is the handbook for getting off the carousel of crazy. And the carousel of crazy is all of those blasted diet programs that we've all been on, hook, line, and sinker. The fake food, the awful programs, the weighing in public, all the things, the money, the time, the effort, the mind space that they've all taken. And I'm saying, let's opt out of the diet culture. And that's what this book is all about. Getting off the diet, the carousel of crazy. This is how to live a vibrant life in full bloom, because that's what we're all about. We also, in this package, have a workbook that goes with it. You'll find it all at savingdinner.com/bloom. Now, one of the things that I do, because I want you to feel seen, I want you to know that I see you and that I care about you and that I love you, is I sign every single one of these books, every single one. And I write to the same thing to everyone for whoever it is, love, Leanne, and I give you some kisses and hugs and hearts and the whole 9 yards because I can't do emojis in there. So I make up my own, right? But that's an important part of this whole thing because this is how we move the needle, is being a part of a community. It's critical. It's important. And we start, by the way, with our biggest challenge that we do next Monday coming up. And the challenge doesn't start Monday, but certainly the webinar will be live, the Hot Milk Sprint webinar. To sign up for it, and even if you can't make it on Monday, that's cool. You can get the replay. Go to savingdinner.com/sprint to grab your seat. It's free, of course. And last but not least, I don't want to leave this out. Do I have, goodness, what did I do with all of that? I've got things everywhere. Here it is. Vitamin C. You know, vitamin C is absolutely a critical supplement for everyone to be taking, unless you're just like, you know, taking a lot of vitamin C in with your food. Probably you're not, because we need this for muscle function. We need it for immune function. And we also need it for our collagen to build. Did you know that? And without adequate vitamin C, you know, we get exhausted, we get tired, we're not building muscle, we're not developing the collagen that we need to. There's a lot there. This is our supplement of the week, and you can get a screaming hot deal on it by going to savingdinner.com/show, because if you buy 3, you're going to get that 4th one for free. All you have to do is put the 3 in the cart. We'll take care of the 4th one for you. This is how you can save great big gobs of money. We do this every week. So do watch our supplement of the week specials. This one's a great one. And I hope everybody really takes advantage of this. You need vitamin C, you know, and this is a great way to get it. That is what I have for everything. Look, I just ran through it all and you got it all, right? I don't think I missed anything. So like I said, this is FriYAY. So we do our questions and I've got the answers. And I love all these questions, by the way. When you send them in to me, I'm honestly, I'm honored to answer them, because it's obviously thoughtful, something that's you've been thinking about for a while. And I love to be a part of your solution. So thank you for that. I appreciate it. It's an honor. This first one is from Trisha. And she says, in the plan to be proactive, which supplements and how many of each should I take to be at my healthiest to ward off COVID? This is a good question. There's more of me to love than I'd like. I'm working on that. And I was told I was pre-diabetic, and there was a mention of a fatty liver before I started using your products 2 years ago. Thanks in advance. You've been so helpful in my life. Blessed, from Trisha. P.S. These are my fingernails. They grow better than when I was pregnant. And she has this picture of these incredible fingernails that are just gorgeous, natural, beautiful, and strong. Wow. And you know, can you imagine if that's what's happening with her fingernails, the rest of her body tissues are doing really well too. Muscle, bone, ligaments, tendons. Come on. And your skin, of course, is going to be massively improved. So let's talk to Trisha about this. Now, first of all, we have the Immunity High Five. Guess what? When you buy the Immunity High Five, you're buying a bundle of products and you are getting the best deal possible. We do this when we bundle things up. We have kits, you know, etc. And the ones that go in there, I'm going to show you are, guess what? Vitamin C. You knew that, right? And by the way, vitamin C is an antioxidant, and it is basic nutritional stuff. Vitamin C helps when it's an antioxidant. That means it stops. I always think of a bicycle in the rain, and it's like putting a tarp over that bicycle to keep it from rusting. Because when we have free radicals in our body, we get free radical damage, and it does all kinds of destruction in there. An antioxidant comes along and it's just like a little Pac-Man and eats it up and takes it down. So that's really important, because remember, our bodies are constantly in this place of either correcting or damaging. You know, there's no such thing as limbo. Your body just doesn't sit there and just go, oh, whatever. It's not like that. It is actively doing something, either helping to correct and heal, or damaging or dying off. Now, there's certain things, of course, that we want to die off, but there's also a lot of things that we don't want to die off, right? We want the best metabolic function we can possibly get. And vitamin C is one of those things. Remember, our immune systems are everything. Our immune systems are everything. And when you understand that 70% of your immune system lives in your gut, having a good, healthy gut is massively important. So yes, vitamin C, take advantage of our special at savingdinner.com/show, and you'll get 3. Now, this is a 500 milligram capsule. How much do you need? Well, in my opinion, that is enough if you are eating from the rainbow and enough vegetables and etc. And you're also adding quercetin, which is part of our Immunity High Five. Quercetin is basically bioflavonoids from vitamin C, and it really puts the vitamin C on steroids. It helps with immune function. It helps with colds. It helps to battle viruses. So this is one of the reasons why we love our quercetin and why it is part of our immunity high five. Now, the recommendation here is 500 milligrams. You can always increase any of these. You can do some research. Again, your research is not Facebook memes. Your research is going to places like PubMed to get the research and see what's the latest research tell us. Remember, the science of nutrition is always evolving. I mean, we discover new nutrients all the time. Nobody heard about resveratrol, for example, 50 years ago, or even quercetin. These are recent discoveries, and they're showing what they do and what they're capable of. So keep that in mind, that as things fluctuate and change, we have to be amenable to those kind of changes. 27 years ago, when I first started as a nutritionist, I was recommending low-fat, non-fat, everything, and high grains, full grain, like whole wheat bread and whole brown rice and things like that. I would not recommend that anymore because it's highly inflammatory, as we know. So you see what I'm saying with all of that. So keep that in mind. Now, zinc is important. In our zinc, you get 11 milligrams. You can take up to 4 of these to get to 50 milligrams a day. Zinc is one of the most important minerals that you can get. Let me tell you a little bit about zinc, because I think a lot of us are mineral deficient. It is important for gut health. It is important for immunity. And it is important for your skin, hair, and nails as well, because it helps to heal these things up. Remember, when you start seeing changes in your skin, you start seeing acne suddenly appear or rosacea or something, that is a reflection of what's going on inside. And if that's what's going on inside, it's also taking your immunity down as you go. So, our gut health is one of the keys to high immunity, is keeping your gut nice and healthy. So we want the zinc, we want the vitamin C, we want the quercetin, and we also want to sleep. Check it out. Our new labels are in on these. Sleep Ease. Take 2 at night before you go to bed to make sure you sleep. And I will tell you, we have got quite the fan club on this, because this is just such a fantastic supplement. It's non-addictive. It's non-addictive, of course. It is 100%. It's well balanced with everything in it that you need. And I finally got Mark on these. He takes 3 to 4. He takes a little bit more. He's a bigger guy, right? He's over 200 pounds, so he's going to need a little bit more. I only take 2, but it's fine because I'm out like a light, and I love it. I do a sleep meditation when I go to bed and take the sleep. Now, why am I talking about this? Because sleep is an important part of the equation. The studies are very clear, especially between the hours of 10 p.m. and 4 a.m. This is when the healing is done. This is when your body goes into repair mode. At least block off 11 to 4. That's mainly when we do, we get to bed. We're about 10:30 is our usual time. I'm not usually in bed by 10. There's still things to do, getting ready for the next day, making sure the water's filled so I can get my hydration station. You know the drill at night, turning on the dishwasher, taking the dog out one last time, all those things. But I'll tell you what, I'm tired and ready to go. You can train yourself to that, and you need to get your sleep. You cannot avoid sleep. You'll sleep when you're dead. That's what a lot of people say, and I say, absolutely not. If you want to keep your immune system on point, gotta sleep. Also, we have with that InflaCrusher. InflaCrusher crushes inflammation. What do you think being sick is? It's your inflammation gone wild is what it is, with various viruses and what have you. And let's COVID aside, there are viruses out there that are rampant, right? So I've heard of someone who's picked up a childhood disease that shouldn't have gotten it because really her immune system wasn't quite on par. Your immune system should be able to fight off, some of this stuff that kids typically get and they're newly introduced to. And if you're picking them up, that means that you're not quite there, right? Everything needs to be on point, including hydration, absolutely, and make sure that you're doing electrolytes. We have that in hot melt mix, and fiber in fiber mender, because those are the things that help to drive hydration into the cells. A hydrated cell works a whole heck of a lot better than a cell that's dried and parched. And remember, when you are dried and parched, you are putting part of the burden on your kidneys are saying, hey, I need some help. The liver's helping that. So your liver's not detoxing the way it should. You see, there's a domino effect that happens when we don't take care of the things that we need to do. Our body compensates, great, but why would we want to make our bodies have to compensate when, in fact, all we have to do is add a little bit to the equation. Also, when you're moving, by the way, any kind of movement, I love all of our walkers. We got a lot of walkers in our Hot Melt Sprint group. Walking is one of the best things that you can do for lymph flow. Of course, you've got lymph nodes all over you, like in your gut as well. And any kind of a stimulation, you can use dry brushing. That's helpful. You can take baths. I take a Epsom salt bath nearly every night for 20 minutes in 4 cups of Epsom salts in that bath, and just chill out with a little drop or 2 of lavender essential oil. It just brings it all down. Managing stress also manages your immune system, by the way. It does. Meditation is important. That's why I do a meditation at night. I just want to chill out and get myself in the mindset of sleep, restorative sleep, healing sleep. So InflaCrusher, like I said, is a fabulous supplement and will help to bring it down. Now, when you're in a lot of pain or you got a lot going on, you can up the dose, and it says 1 cap, but I'm like, hey, I've got a killer, my knees are hurting or my hips are hurting. Usually it's my hips. I usually get hip pain and what have you. That's where it shows up when I've been working out. And 2, InflaCrusher is just, to me, way better than using, all the over-the-counter medications for pain like Advil and such, because it's not going to wreck my liver. Remember, 35,000 deaths a year are attributed to these NSAIDs. So we need to keep that in mind. You don't want to be one of those statistics. And if you're habitually taking over-the-counter type of medications for pain, it's time to look at the root cause. What's going on here? Obviously, for pain as well and everything else, and to develop healthy tissues, including all of your organs, we need to be looking at building our collagen. 97% of us are deficient. Perfect Paleo Protein to the rescue. Beauty support. Where's my beauty support to the rescue? I got it here somewhere. Beauty support is another one. Here we go. There it is. Beauty support to the rescue as well. Helps you to build your own collagen, along with the vitamin C, along with the Perfect Paleo Protein. All critical, all helpful. Selenium. This is a missing mineral from our soils today. It's all been washed out. We've over-farmed, etc. Thyroid function is very much associated with, or lack of thyroid function is very much associated with missing selenium from the soil. And when your thyroid's not working, again, we've got a domino effect going on. So we need to be looking at, this is your master gland for metabolism. And if your metabolism's all wonky, everything goes off, brain function and everything. You want to feel good, right? You also want to boost your immune system. Well, that's part of the selenium's job as well. Let's see, what else am I missing? Another thing that I would recommend, which is probably unusual, and maybe you have not heard of it or have, is that when you've got a lot of phlegm going on, especially if you're waking up in the morning and one of these people that are going big goops, lots of phlegm and what have you. It's interesting. I was reading a new research paper talking about how it's connected to what they're calling inflammatory brain. Who wants an inflamed brain? I'll tell you, I sure do not. That you want to talk about brain fog and the inability to think clearly? It's connected to all that phlegm because there's a backup of your body's ability to handle phlegm. Mucus happens when your body's saying, okay, there's a bunch of irritants in here. There's a bunch of stuff that I need to get out. And the phlegm comes and the mucus come and all of the rest of it so that it can carry it on out because it's moving, right? This is where the hydration comes in so importantly. This is why pulling dairy out of your diet might be a really good idea. And same with the gluten and any grain, really, because what you'll find is if it creates phlegm, that's a real problem on a regular basis, because nobody wants an inflammatory brain, number one. And number two, it is something that we don't want to suppress it. We want to help clear it, because phlegm moves viruses out and bacteria and toxins and everything else. Your body is meant to use that stuff, just like fever's meant to burn out a virus, etc. I mean, this is what our bodies do. They've got mechanisms in place to help our bodies to do the work that it needs to do. Sometimes, though, it gets a little off the rails and we got to bring it all in. So creating this extraordinary immune system and supporting the immune system that we already have is massively important. So, you know, we have an immune system that's in place that we were born with. And then we have another immune system that's in place that this is what we are exposed to and therefore create immunity from. You know, it's like why I recommend taking during any kind of seasonal allergies is to get raw honey from your area, because there's like 100 substances in there that help your body discover the stuff that's causing problems and develop immunity from it. It's nature's vaccination, you know, and it's really fabulous because this is what makes our bodies work optimally. So keep that in mind. If you have seasonal allergies, do go to like a farmer's market or someplace where they have it. Yeah, you're going to pay a little bit more, but you're getting the real deal. These bees have been out doing all the work for you. So take a little bit of that, put a little bit in your tea or whatever. And I know if you're going, but I'm hot melting, I can't do this. You know, for this kind of a thing, and you're miserable and you're taking all kinds of stuff that, you know, is drying the heck out of you, try this. It works, I promise you. Now, the reason that I'm talking about all this phlegm business is another thing that really helps with the mucus and to digest it. I know it sounds disgusting. It is glycozyme or digestymes, and I've got these right here. This helps to gobble up and break it down. It does the same thing with when you have any kind of, like if you're healing from a surgery, or you had a let's say you were in a car accident. When I was in a car accident, I don't know, 20 years ago, or maybe a little bit less than that, 15 years ago, and the bags inflated and popped me in the face, gave my daughter, Caroline was in the car, gave her a bloody nose, and we both got these bruises across our sternums from the seatbelts. And digestive enzymes, because they come in and they see that dry blood and they take care of it. So this is part of the cleanup crew, right? For any kind of anything that's coming in. So take it with your meals as usual. But if you start to get sick, it's something that you can, especially if you're real mucusy, this is something that you can also add to your supplements that'll really make a difference, you know, really make a difference. Now, vitamin, nope. Sorry. Here we go. Here it is, vitamin D. Vitamin D is an absolute gotta have, must have. Got to have it. Vitamin D is responsible for structurally for you. I mean, it helps with your bone remodeling. It helps with all of your tissues. It also helps with your immune system. We get the best vitamin D, of course, from any kind of protein source. Dairy is one of them. If you can tolerate it, make sure that it's raw, make sure that it's whole milk, a kind of thing. I would say if you can tolerate it, make sure that it's also fermented. If you cannot, and you start getting the phlegm, that's letting you know, hey, this isn't working out. You start getting any kind of a joint pain or rosacea or zits or whatever, your body's saying, I don't do well with that. So for me, that doesn't do really well. I take vitamin D and I go try to get 20 minutes of sun a day without sunscreen. Without sunscreen. So you want to not burn, obviously. And I know people freak out about saying, oh my gosh, no sunscreen. Well, I'm not talking about sunbathing with baby oil all over you on an 85-degree day with reflectors around you. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about just getting your skin exposed to the sun to get some vitamin D in. It also activates the vitamin D, as does CalMag. Add that. Calcium, magnesium, and vitamin D work together like a hand in glove. And I would definitely do that. Stick with 1 or 2 of the vitamin D, depending if you know what your levels are. You need to know what your levels are. And you want them in the higher range. So about 60 would be good versus in the lower range. If it's in the toilet, it's time to get serious about it. You might even want to talk to your doctor about getting a subscription vitamin D, a high-level vitamin D that you take once a week. Vitamin D levels are everything for your immune system. It's a baseline thing. Let's see. Just Juice Veggies, I love because, again, it gets your nutrient levels up. I know this. A lot of us need to get our nutrient tanks filled. They have been depleted for so long and they need to get filled back up. When you consider that Just Juice Veggies has 7 to 9 servings of fruit and vegetables in it, in a way that's highly palatable, in a way that's easy to take, 1 scoop, that's going to help as well as, and that doesn't mean that that's going to give you okay, now go get some, go get a takeout pizza and, off we go. We don't want you to do that. We don't want you to do that, but we do want you to have your nutrient levels up. Bone broth, again, helping to build that membrane in your gut. And of course, always, L-glutamine. L-glutamine will help with cravings. It will also help heal your gut. Your gut is intrinsically attached to your immune system, and your immune system, 70% is in your gut. So bad gut, your immune system's also distressed and highly stressed out and needs some repair. Now, I put my L-glutamine here in a little cup. I'm going to show you this because for those of you with cravings and have sugar issues and you're just saying, yeah, I want all of that stuff, but at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, you go diving into the pantry for some chips or for some cookies or whatever. You got to get on top of that because that your body recognizes that as sugar, 100% sugar, and sugar destroys and makes way for things that we don't want, feeds the stuff we don't want to feed. So if you put L-glutamine on your gums and on your tongue, you have an immediate, like that, seriously, cut off of the craving. It's a physiological cut off of the craving because it now takes the sugar craving that was going on in your head right to the pleasure center of your brain. You know what that feels like? It's like, oh, there we go. There's that, the sugar helping calm me down. L-glutamine just took care of that and knocked it out. But that still means, there's a mindset piece there because you have the physiological and then you have the physical. And the physical means that you need to knock that out simply by giving yourself something else to do instead of. Go take a walk, drink another thing of water, text a friend, etc. Just have that ready. Read a quote that's going to help you to say, you know what, this is all like this one, like this quote, for example. Time flies, but the good news is that you're the pilot. And remember, you're the pilot. You get to make the determination. Am I going to, at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, go on a pantry dive? Or am I going to stay out of it, take a little L-glutamine and do something different? You have to get off sugar if you're going to get your immune system in good order. You want an excellent immune system, sugar and immunity do not go hand in hand. They fight each other. So let's keep that in mind. And now I think I'm finally finished with all of that. But this is eat an anti-inflammatory diet, keep the carbs to a minimum, hydrate like you mean it, and get your sleep, take your supplements, you'll be in good stead. All right, that was a long one. Long one. This is from Julie. Could you talk about gaining weight from medication and how hot milk helps us? Some of us are talking about steroids on Facebook, and I'm trying to get my thyroid medicine regulated after losing 55 pounds. As soon as my dosage was reduced, I felt like I was run over by a truck. And I gained 5 pounds within a week within sprinting. I've stuck with hot melt and taken 3 of the 5 off over 60 days. The doctor wasn't surprised. She is telling me to stick it out for the next 90 days. and the blood test at 60 days proves her correct. She said it would be worse if I wasn't following hot milk. I know that's a fact, by the way. The setback's frustrating, especially when the first 55 came off so quickly. Over the past 2 months, I'm still up 2 pounds. Hot milk has brought me this far to the delight of my doctor. I'm not backing down. But any motivation on the diet, medication, and the fight to lose weight between being in the middle of those two would help. I've got 30 pounds still to lose. This is from Julie, by the way. I don't think I said that. Well, Julie, you have a great question, and I've experienced this with my mother. She took a steroid. She was on a couple of steroids when she was going through chemotherapy back in the 90s, and then again later on in the 2000s when she was having such bad fibromyalgia attacks. This is what they put her on, much to her daughter's chagrin. I know and understand this because she had a round full moon face and she was just so nothing fit her, and she was really frustrated. So the only thing that I can say about this is that the medication is going to make its mark because it causes water retention, especially steroids, and it does have a secondary effect. 2 things you can do. 1, talk to your doctor. Is there an opportunity for me to take something else instead? It sounds to me like he's titrating you down to get you off them, because steroids also cause massive damage to your adrenals, just shredding them. But absolutely 100% necessary when you're going through a certain treatment plan. And as you step off of them and they reduces the medication, yeah, you're going to feel like a truck hit you. So what can you do? 1, stay the course. Stay the course. Make sure your hydration is on point. Make sure your sleep is on point. Take your supplements and pretend and work with your body and say, you know what? I might be taking these steroids, but I am still losing weight. I'm losing double the weight in half the time, much to my doctor's surprise. Start with a mindset piece and believe that your efforts have effect, even though you're doing this whole steroid thing. I think that will help. I believe with all of my heart that when we set our expectations for this is going to happen because of this medication, then by gum, it happens. So maybe we can, back away from that. That's one of the things that I've thought of. The other thing is make sure that you're getting your adequate amounts of sleep and adequate amounts of movement, smart movement. You need functional movement, and you also need stuff that's going to stimulate your metabolism. So our functional movement is walking. Walking is just a fabulous exercise, and it does everything. But walking is a functional exercise. It's functional. It's not going to give you everything that you need out of it, unfortunately. To stimulate your metabolism, you're going to want to do a little HIIT training to go with that. So you could do, say you're on a 2-mile walk. For 10 minutes of it, you can do some HIIT. And just all you would do is 30 seconds of fast walking, and then, or even 10 seconds or whatever you can do, and then take it off until you bring your heartbeat back, back to normal, or where your breath is normal, and then do it again up to, anywhere from 6 to 10 times of these little spurts of energy expenditure. And it just makes all the difference in the world, because that's something new for your metabolism to have to deal with. I would definitely add that in. Also, I would add in either body weight exercises, and you can get our body weight guide that we have in our Get Strong, Be Strong challenge kit. And I'm sure Jenny's got a link for you, but it's savingdinner.com/strong. And there's a webinar and everything that goes with it. But there's free resources there that are in the link. You can download that and start doing a weight training thing. Here's the thing. When your muscles are strong, your metabolism is stronger and higher. It takes a whole lot more energy to maintain muscle than it does fat. So people will oftentimes say, and it drives me crazy, muscle weighs more than fat. No, 5 pounds is 5 pounds. So 5 pounds of fat and 5 pounds of muscle equals 5 pounds. The difference being is this is 5 pounds of fat and this is 5 pounds of muscle. You see, this one takes up a whole lot less space. but the weight is the same. And this is a good thing. And it also stimulates your metabolism. So if you don't have these things going on already, Julie, this is going to help with any of that. Also, your hydration has got to be on point. When your body is not adequately hydrated, we don't lose weight, period. And with medication, even more so. So these are the things that I can think of off the top of my head that are really going to help. A little hit added into functional training, fitness level, getting a little bit of body weight, even using body weight or light weights or whatever to get going on getting your muscles stimulated and really metabolically working hard on your behalf. And sleep, of course. Without adequate sleep, you don't drop the weight either. And we have to prioritize our sleep. We have to, in order to get the healing process going and in order to feed the metabolism, essentially. That's how I look at it anyways. Maybe that's not scientifically correct, but it really is. It just makes a difference because your metabolism's then going, okay, I can handle this. I can work on this. We lose weight, according to the scientists, between 4 a.m. and 6 a.m. in the morning. So if that's the case, I want to be in bed, sleeping hard between those hours. Let's make it happen, right? Anyway, you still have 30 pounds to lose. Stay with it, because think about what the alternative is too. Even if you don't lose another pound, you can make your body smaller by simply getting your muscle going. Remember, this is the difference between fat and muscle. And if you're going to weigh the same, but this is the result of it, cool. I started a weight training program. In 1 month, I lost only 3 pounds, but I went down a whole size in jeans. What does that tell you, right? All right, this is from Lucy. I know we need to leave soy products out of our food, but I don't really know why. I found tons of conflicting info online, and I must have missed the times you talked to us about it. Yeah, the thing is with soy, there's two things with soy. It can be goiterogenic and estrogenic, meaning that if you already have a lot of estrogen, it's going to add to your estrogen load. And there's a lot of people who have too much estrogen that need to clear it out of your system. So there's that. And you don't know what your hormones are until you have a hormone test to say that. So I'm just letting you know. But especially for women who've had like fibrous breasts or have had like sketchy mammograms in the past or thermograms, whatever it is that you do, you might want to just say, not so keen on soy. It could also, the goiter, that's your thyroid. And when we're looking at thyroid function, soy can really mess it up. So I'm just not a fan of that. And I just kind of step away. It's unavoidable in some things. And I don't use soy. I use cocoa aminos instead of for soy sauce. I use cocoa and have for years. And that was part of the equation for me getting my thyroid back into shape after being diagnosed with Hashimoto's and then finally going into remission a number of years ago. Made a difference on everything. It was one of those puzzle pieces. And I've shared with you my whole story on getting back to a place where I wasn't battling thyroid issues day in and day out. But that was one of the things. I just made an easy switch. Coconut amino acids, coconut aminos versus soy sauce, done. Easy. Yes, you will find conflicting information. It's like anything out there. Nutrition is one of those things that can get a little bit sketchy. Can we say that? And essentially, confirmation bias, can I just tell you, it's there. I can't lie. There's no such thing as unbiased anything anymore. I'm just convinced about it. The more I've searched and searched and searched. I like getting my news from a wire system, like Reuters, for example. I like that. That's as unbiased, I believe, as I'm going to get from without the, hyperbole of some talking head. But my nutrition, I go into PubMed, and then I look at the study, who did the study, and then I look for the funding on the study. And that's the best that I can possibly do. Now, I'm also always going to look for stuff that's going to support what I already believe. We all do that, by the way. We all do. We don't say, let me see what conflicting stuff is out there. I mean, you can. But when you're in, when you go into PubMed and do a deep dive on some of this research, start with the abstract so that you get a good overview, then go through and read the actual thing and why all of this is. Some of it's going to fly over your head. It does with me. I'm going, okay, I don't know what they're exactly talking about here. But in order to get a good grasp and doing true research, not just saying, well, I did my research. You hear that all the time, by the way. But what are you doing your research on? Do not do an article. If it's an article that you're reading on Facebook, make sure that they're putting notations in there with the studies, and don't say that that's enough. Then go follow that rabbit trail down and see what that study is. I've seen several things, and a lot of times it's COVID related. I hate to say it, but where they'll say, well, in Israel, this, that, and the other thing. And I'm like, really? And I go and I read the study, and then it turns out that the comorbidities, these were, people who had massive comorbidities and were old. They were going to pass away anyway. So when we look at that, we've got to look deeper than just, well, this is what I read. We have to not be those people. My gosh, if you're going to stand on a platform, you better know what you're standing on, and you better have really done your research, and you better go digging, And remember, confirmation bias is a thing. I don't like soy. I do not like soy because for me, it didn't work. And so for me to say, hey, Hashimoto's, all this other stuff that I had, this is my confirmation bias, but this is what I found with the science. And I feel good reporting that. I do. But I know that if I said the polar opposite and said, hey, I'm a vegan, I eat nothing but these products, and I get a lot of soy. Hey, it's organic, non-GMO soy. That's what I use. And this is the research that supports all of that. That's where it gets confusing. And that's what's out there, guys. That's what's out there. There is confirmation bias, and know that. And know that you are biased too. I am, and you are too. Can we just agree? So what? It's the way the world operates. And we can find anything that we want to support anything that we want. Listen, I was in a church that their whole thing was, let's debate everyone. And their whole thing was taking down the other guy. And I have this thing about, inside of me when I was seeing all of this done, and, and did you hear it when he said this? And, like baptism immersion versus baptism sprinkle. Oh, you want to see a show and a half on that. And just listening to everybody about this. And, I'm like, well, what would Jesus do here? How proud is he of all of this? Is that love? And the same thing with nutrition, the same thing with politics, the same thing with all of this. We get pushed into this place, and it's by our own confirmation bias. Let's be honest enough to admit that. So as I'm telling you this, I am telling you that I don't like soy because of my personal experience with it, and I've got the receipts to prove it. But you can also find other stuff that will prove that soy is good. So you have to go. You just have to go with what what's what. And plus, can we just talk about soy products? Nobody should be eating a soy product. That's complete garbage. If you're going to eat soy at all, organic, non-GMO, and it's maybe a soy sauce that's been fermented in barrels, in Japan somewhere for 40 years, and it's good stuff, and you're paying top dollar for it. It's not garbage. Or it's edamame, and we're done. Or maybe some tofu. But soy products, that's all processed garbage. You don't need that. Nobody needs that. And sermon ended. And thank you for attending my TED Talk. All right. Number 2 from Lucy. I break my fast with hunger each day around 2 or 3 p.m. I eat a reasonable but not a large meal then. For the last couple of months, I'm simply not hungry for dinner. I eat a very small meal at dinner time now because I get into deep trouble the day I decided fiber mender, almond milk, and collagen powder would make a lovely dinner. Major stomach acid at 3 a.m. Had not had stomach acid since I started eating properly 2 or 3 years ago. Big yikes. I ate 2-year-old crackers at 4 a.m. hoping to calm my stomach. It actually worked, but boy, were those crackers stale. First of all, Can we just make a pinkies up promise here that we'll all get rid of the 2-year-old crackers or the year-old crackers, the 2 of them, whatever. Get rid of the old crackers, dump them. The other thing is, I don't know why it did this. I can't answer that question, except that maybe there's a sensitivity that, I don't know what time you ate it, whatever. So you've answered your own question. And then maybe what it is that that's your meal that you break your fast with. And then you do go with the proven small dinners that work for you. Stomach acid is just basically your body saying, I have not digested well, and I am pushing it back up into your esophagus to make you a miserable woman. There's a sphincter there that's supposed to close. And sometimes with enough stomach acid gurgling up, which doesn't mean, by the way, that you have excessive stomach acid. It just means that you've got stomach acid that's decided to creep up. And stomach acid does that. But if that sphincter doesn't close, well, then you're in trouble. So that's what that's about. And like I said, I do not have an answer to why. All I can tell you is go with what works. Break your smoothie, break your dinner, your fast every day with that's when I would use my collagen. Because that works for you and you're upright and not laying down. So maybe the liquid just stayed there. Maybe you have a almond milk sensitivity. I don't know. But all I can say is we always go back to what works and stop trying to, reinvent it. You don't need to. You don't need to. And I'm proud of you, by the way, for all of that. You've done a lot of hard work, Lucy. Shows. And get rid of those crackers. Me and crackers. I have a hard time. Crackers are like cookies to me. I love them. All right. From Carol Scott. I made the bone broth again, poured some in some ice trays to freeze. What are they used for again? Can I put a cup in my coffee cup and add water? Will that dilute it too much? It depends on how densely you boiled it down. We can make it very concentrated, or maybe it's not concentrated enough. It's by taste that you can see. So put some, put a cube in your coffee cup, add a little bit of hot water, and keep tasting it so you can get the ratio right. That's number one. Number two, the bone broth is used when we sprint in the hot milk sprint soup. And that recipe is in your sprint guide, of course, savingdinner.com/sprint. To pick up your guide, print it out, put it in plastic protectors, put it in a notebook, have it so you always have it. This is a reference guide. We use it all the time, once a month. So it's really important that we do this. This is how we honor this free program and get to the place where we know exactly what's next, okay? The other thing is, too, you can always opt to have a cup of bone broth at any time. If you're jonesing for dinner and it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon and you're just going, oh my gosh, I'm ready to lose it, take a little cup of bone broth and watch. That will take, it's like 30 calories. It's like nothing, but it's very soothing. And there's a whole thing that goes with it. There's a little bit of protein in it, and it really helps. And it helps your gut lining. It helps everything. This stuff is magical elixir. It's healing, and it'll help. This is the one time that I say, okay, a little something won't hurt. And this is one of those times, and it helps you also to skip all the snack foods, because snacks are just darn evil. This is only if you need it, though. Only if you need it. Well, that went long. I didn't realize it was going to go as long as it did, but there it is. I think I gave you absolutely everything A to Z. Hopefully I answered your questions, everybody who asked them. Don't forget, next week, if you have a question, you can send it into support@savingdinner.com. Question for Leanne on Friday goes right there in the subject line, and I will take care of it. Tomorrow is Soulful Saturday, and we're going to be wrapping up our series on becoming. You're not going to want to miss this, because I think we're going to tie it up with a nice pretty bow and call it a week. And I'm looking forward to seeing you there. Peace be with you. Bye-bye.
Thanks for watching. You can find us on YouTube on the Saving Dinner channel or on the Saving Dinner Facebook page. Check back daily for new episodes, Monday to Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern. If you missed the live show, you can watch the replay. Until next time, pinkies up.